Yo, what is up, guys? Joker here, bringing you a video on the Path of Exile 3.15 Expedition League tips and tricks that I was going to throw out to you guys that I've been hinting at the last couple of videos. So essentially, this is my second take of this because for some reason the audio sounded like complete dog shit, and I had to rewatch my video from last night to make sure that the audio wasn't as bad as it was in the recording, because it was fucking awful, and I have no idea why. So I went ahead and I tried messing with a couple of things. Hopefully it's still not terrible, but let's take a look. So essentially, I wanted to go ahead and give tips and tricks, macros, web pages, tools to help you guys out with your Path of Exile League start, since we are 3 days away. So give you a couple of days to play around with these, see if you like them or not. Before League launch, so you don't have to try to mess around with them on League launch, right? So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the first thing that I'm going to go over is probably the most obvious thing, and that is going to be your trade macro. It is PoE Awaken Trade. This is essentially, Awaken PoE Trade. This is essentially the best trade macro, quote unquote, that everyone uses pretty much. You see this on pretty much every streamer's stream. This is what they're using to help price check items 90% of the time. All these links, by the way, are going to be in the description to go ahead and help you guys out. But yeah, so first thing, Awaken PoE Trade. Get your trade macro. It's going to be super helpful, especially if you're not that versatile in pricing items. Then definitely get this downloaded and it'll help you out there. Now, I am going to try to speed run this because the last video ended up being like 20 minutes of corrupted audio, so, that was great. So jumping along to PoE Lurker. This is essentially more of an assistance tool than a trade macro in itself. What this does is it gives you little alerts when someone sends you a trade request. If you're on the trade site and you hit Whisper, this will automatically send your message in-game. This is how you see people pinging people so fast for items, as well as it'll show you the item that the person wants in your stash tab. And it has some useful tips and tricks in it, where there's like macros for sending trade requests, the give me a second messages, the this is already sold, are you still interested, and party invites, and so on. So it definitely has a lot of useful tools in it, and it is a pretty much just an extension kind of helping you make the trading process a little bit better. So that's mainly what these first two things are, is this is price checking, and this is making your trading experience better. Now, jumping on to the next thing is going to be obviously, pathofexile.com/trade. It is the recommended site to use for trading just because it is versatile. I'd recommend watching maybe Zizrin's or someone's video on how to use the trade site, because it can be a little intimidating if you don't know what to put in there, if you're putting in the wrong things. I mean, people like even DatMods will go ahead and help you search for an item if he's not too busy while he's streaming. He'll go ahead and throw in a search if you tell him your build sometimes. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, the reason why I suggest using this trade site is because it is the most up to date, as well as it is it's the most up to date is pretty much the reason. Some of the other trade sites will have a delay on them, and you don't want to be pinging people for items that are already sold, because that doesn't do you any good, right? So let's go ahead and look over here to the right hand side. I made this folder when I was doing that last video, but might as well still use the items. So impulsos, right? This little macro, this little extension is called Better Path of Exile Trading. It's directly through Google Chrome, and essentially what it does, it has a couple of useful features if you're able to see them here. You can pin this onto it, you can report people for scamming on TFT, and then you can go ahead and see automatic conversions, as well as you can save items that you want to quickly revisit. And this is great for jumping to items that you know you're going to need for your build, but you just don't have the currency to buy them at that point in time. So, as you can see, jumping between the two, the best thing is the fact that it does load and update every time. So if you're looking for specific items, this is a great alternative to having live searches up, because live searches, you can only have so many, plus you're going to get a notification every time something goes up, and unless you want to proactively trade like that, this is going to be your next best bet for just jumping to an item instead of trying to think of what the next item you need is going to be, right? So there's that. We got over these first three things. So essentially for trading, helping you manage the trade site, essentially helping you manage the trade process, and price checking your items. So let's go ahead and jump into the next thing. Quick second. All right. So sorry about that. So jumping into the next thing, a great tool that a lot of people use, which will probably be updated here once again shortly before league launch, but pretty much what it is as you can read, it's Chaos Recipe. And it goes ahead and it essentially helps you perform Chaos Recipe. I mainly use this for the first couple of days to the first week of a league, just because Chaos is so valuable, as well as it would be a pain in the ass. Otherwise, you would just ignore Chaos Recipe, which most people can't even deny. They would just ignore Chaos Recipe. And a lot of people have used this and they haven't heard any backlash. Like I was saying, is that the things that I'm showing in this video is going to be stuff that I personally use, that other streamers have used, and there's been no backlash from GGG. There's been nothing saying, hey, you're not allowed to use that. So that's why I want to go ahead and put it out there for other people to use as well. But essentially what it does is it's an add-on to your loot filter, where it goes ahead and once you get to the item level where you can find the items that are used for Chaos Recipe, they'll have them highlighted in a specific color, whatever color you want, and then you have it set up to how many item sets do you want to have before you do Chaos Recipe, right? And then you just throw all these in a tab, and then you can set it up for the overlays, where you go ahead and you go ahead and this is the overlay. And you can do a quick restart and see how many of each items you want, and then you can even turn off. It will proactively turn off like gloves and boots if you have enough to hit the amount of sets. Let's say you want 5 sets for Chaos Recipe. If you have 5 boots, the boots will no longer be highlighted on the floor for you. So it's super helpful there. But yeah, that's one of the things that I use at the start of League for the first couple of days of the first week, just because Chaos is so valuable, and otherwise I'd completely lose out on Chaos Recipe, because, I mean, there may be people who do it manually, but that seems like, ouch, no, wouldn't recommend that. Now, jumping to the next thing, because like I said, I don't want this video to be super long, is going to be Excellence next. So I have this up right here, and essentially what this does is it's another price checking macro, but instead of looking at items one at a time, this is going to price check a tab for you. Now, where where Awakened PoE Trade is for looking at mainly rare items, Path of Excellence next is for pretty much the bulk currencies, right? If you want to go ahead and just see how much a tab you have is worth, it can go ahead and track that for you. And you've probably seen a bunch of people using this. Like Cute Dog uses it a lot. Tripolar Bear uses it. Like, I know a lot of people that use it. I'm pretty sure Path of Math uses it. So like a lot of people use this to go ahead and just get a rough price check of their stash tab after they're done with something. It tells you how much you make an hour, and essentially all you do is you put whatever you want. So let's say it was div cards that was in that tab, right? That would be easy for you to go ahead and navigate through them. So just div cards, the league, the type of league you're in. So if you're in hardcore or standard, and then the type of league you're in. So you select the current league, and then you select your stash tabs that you want it to price check. You'd select your character if you want it to evaluate the price of the items on your character as well, and then the equipment and the inventory of that character. That's why it's having you select that. And then you would just hit save profile, and you'd hit this little fetch snapshot, and it'd go ahead and read those tabs for you. Come back and say, okay, this is what you have in those tabs, and this is how much it's worth. This is great for your dump tabs, just because I know with affinities, dump tabs died out a little bit in popularity, but a lot of people still use dump tabs for a lot of things, especially if they don't have all the tabs for affinities. So, excellent snacks, great program. I love it. Jumping to the next thing is going to be PoE Ninja. This is going to have 2 services. This is essentially going to help you price check an item if you want to see how it's currently trending, as well as what are the most common trade prices for the item. On top of that, it's going to go ahead and have the builds of the top percentage of players. And you can go ahead and, let's say you're playing, I don't know, Scourge Arrow, and you want to see what your build looks like compared to the person who's doing the most damage with Scourge Arrow. You go here, it shows you their trees, it shows you their ascendancy, it shows you their gear, it shows you their, their tree, gear, ascendancies. So, as well as it gives you a link to the path of building so you can put it in there. So, great resource for not only the price checking, but also if you're even making your own build, you can kind of roughly follow the guidelines you see a lot of other people doing with a similar type skill. Make sure that you're trying to get the most bang for your buck, most deeps for what you're doing. You feel like you're doing no damage, but you see here this person has like 100 million damage. Well, you look at his tree, see what the difference is, and that's also going to help you learn on what skills better, right? Now, the only problem with this is some people are super fucking cheeky, and they'll throw in like a bunch of stuff that actually can't be supported. They'll have like 3 watchers, they'll have like a ton of watchers' eyes just so they're at the top of the damage chart. I don't know why they feel special doing that, but just go ahead and click into it. Make sure it looks like a real build, and then you'll be perfectly fine. Make sure you're not trying to match someone who's using 7 watchers' eyes, which TLDR, you can't do that. But yeah, that's going to be the PoE Ninja. Now, jumping over to PoE Maps. This is essentially just what I use just for early completion, where because I usually try to just get completion. I don't really do the bunny hopping or the rush to the edge. I just do a completion and then I navigate my way there later, just because I want to have a ton of maps. So I'll go here and it'll help me get completion. And this is where, because I do it the completion way, I have a ton of maps. So the people that are rushing to the corners are going to trade me the maps that I need for the maps that I have, just because they're trying to do their Atlas strategy, and I'm going to have a surplus maps so I can get completion and get to the corners easily. So you just go ahead, you click the map you have, you click the map you want, and then you'd hit start. It would start searching for other people that are looking for that trade, and then it'll link you up, allow you to go ahead and get the map that way. And it's not that complicated. That's essentially what it is. And I'm pretty sure that's everything that I had come to mind. I went over Awaken Trade. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, there's only one more thing that I can think of, and it would probably... How can I do this without, like... oh well, it's fine. I'm like, it says it's in streamer mode. And that's going to be... Oh wow, really? That's going to be the TFT Discord. Another great resource, just because it allows you to buy services as well as it allows you to buy bulk items, and it's usually priced relatively well. So I'll have the links to all these things, like I said, in the description of my video, and just wanted to throw it out there as a bunch of tips and tricks that you can use to help you out at the start of a league. But yeah, so recap. We got Awakened Trade, PoE Lurker, the official trade site, Better Trading. Then we have Chaos Recipe Enhancer. We have Excellence Next. We have PoE Ninja. We have PoE Maps. And then, PoE.map.live. And then there is one more thing, and it is going to be right here. Grinding.zone. This is going to be essentially a one-stop shop where you can find a bunch of PoE resources. I'll have this there too. This is the easiest way to find and get to a lot of these things. But yeah, alright guys. Well, just wanted to go ahead, since we have a couple of days before league start, I wanted to throw this video out for you so you could test and use these tools prior to actually trying to use them on the league start, maybe being confused, maybe being lost. So I figured I'd go ahead and throw this out there for you. That way you can start messing with this stuff and hopefully find some things you enjoy, some stuff you may not know about. But yeah, until next time. Oh wait, no. If you like, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If there's anything else you use that helps, leave it down in the comments. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, take care.